Hello, welcome to the fifth video in Nonprofit Finance Fund's video series, A Beginner's Guide to Debt for Nonprofits. In this video, I will give a high-level overview of the steps for taking on debt, from first having the idea to fully paying off the loan. Nearly all lending follows an 8-step process, though there can be differences in how a lender or a borrower approaches each step. Let's start with step 1. This is making sure you need a loan. This is something you do on your own without a lender. You want to make sure that a loan fits your needs and not some other form of capital. If you can get a grant instead, go with the grant. But sometimes you can't. Sometimes a loan is the best option. You just need to make sure of that before you take on debt. If you know you do need a loan, then you must also determine exactly how much and make sure you have everything in place to manage the loan. Taking out a loan requires a lot of work and time, and you don't want to go through the process unless you are reasonably certain of a positive outcome. So you want to make sure that you're ready. Step 2 is choosing a lender. We encourage you to talk to several lenders to find the one that best fits your needs and who you can build a partnership with for the life of the loan. Usually 1 or 2 conversations is enough to know whether it's possible or you want to move forward. If you and the lender agree that there's a possibility of a relationship, then you move to step 3. Step 3 is what lenders call underwriting. This is a technical term that your lender will use for their work of analyzing a loan. Unlike individuals, nonprofits don't have credit scores, so the lender will request a lot of documents from you and have multiple conversations with you to make their own assessment of your ability to manage and pay back the loan. If you've done your own due diligence carefully in step 1, then that makes this process much smoother. If your lender thinks it's a good fit, then they will send you for approval. So in step 4, approval, you get approved and finalize the terms of your loan with your lender via a commitment letter. This step also often involves making a deposit, which is sometimes called good faith money, and it can seem odd giving your lender money when they're about to send you a whole bunch of money, but remember that in most cases you are not borrowing the money for free, and this deposit goes towards paying any fees that are a part of your loan. Then in step 5, once you finalize terms, you go through what lenders call the closing process, which is when you complete a series of legal required documents, including a board resolution and the signed loan agreement. The loan agreement is a much longer document than the commitment letter and will lay out both the terms of the loan, like the amount, the interest, and the repayment schedule, and all of the loan covenants, which are additional things that you are agreeing to in the loan agreement, usually around reporting. Step 6 is the fun one. This is where you receive the funds. It's the shortest step. Step 7, over the course of the loan, you make your payments. You make payments on your loan principal, you pay interest, and you submit whatever other financial reports and documents are required by your loan agreement. And then in step 8, finally, you pay off the loan and you get a payoff letter, which is an important part of this step. Each of these steps take a different amount of time and effort. There are additional sub-steps within each of them, sometimes a lot of sub-steps, depending on your situation. This first step, for example, is entirely dependent on you, and sometimes it can take an organization years to get ready for taking on debt. And then from identifying and choosing lenders to receiving the funds, all of these steps here usually take 3 to 6 months. If you already know your lender and it's a simple loan, then it might take a little bit less time. And if it's a complicated loan or you're not quite ready for underwriting, then it can take longer. I want to share briefly about NFF's process if one of the lenders you want to explore is NFF. So say you've chosen, you're at the point in the process where you have identified NFF as a potential lender, then we have an intake form on our website that is the best way to see whether or not you qualify for a loan from us. After you fill out the form, if you meet our initial baseline criteria, which is laid out in that form, then you will have an intro call with someone on our team. If in that intro call we think you are a good fit, then we move you forward into underwriting, where you'll work closely with another member of our lending team as we conduct our initial analyses. You'll have multiple calls with our underwriter and you'll send us a lot of documents. And then if our analysis is positive, then we write up a term sheet with you. And a term sheet is a non-binding agreement that shows the basic terms and conditions of the loan that NFF is willing to offer you. So that would include the loan amounts, the lengths, the interest rate, collateral, covenants, and other conditions. If all of that is agreeable to you, then most likely we continue our analysis a little bit more. We ask more questions. We probably request some more documentation to ensure that we can appropriately meet all of your financing needs. If we decide we can, then your loan gets approved. And during our closing process, you submit all of your final legal documents. And once we review those, we send the loan agreement out for your review and your signature. The rest of our process includes regular reports and payments over the life of the loan until it is paid out in full. If you're interested in learning more about NFF's specific process, you can see a link to our full process and a link to our intake form in the description of this video. If you want to learn more generally about other steps, like getting ready or choosing a lender, you can check out the other videos in our series. Thank you so much for watching.